What's going on? Welcome back to another brand new episode of Skywalking through the League. I am your host, baby back Bill Sheehy Kenobi, and I'm joined as always by my Jedi partner in crime, Trey Mitchell. Trey, how you doing today, brother?
What's up? I got two boobs on my chest. Scotty and Jerry. Hold on, my audio is bad again. What keeps happening? Hold on, Bill. I'm going to remove myself for some reason. When we go live, my audio just removes. So why don't we introduce our other person here?
Can you hear me? I cannot hear you, Bill.
Preston, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't hear Bill.
Okay. So it's not my fault. It's Bill's fault. Okay. Cool. I don't know what happened there. That's strange. Bill, maybe just disconnect your audio device and start it again. But yeah, while Bill's figuring that out, I guess I will host. Basically, this episode of Skywalking Through the League is about Star Wars Celebration and Kenobi. And Noah. Noah is also part of this show because Noah is part of all of our lives, as everyone at IHOP knows. So basically, Bill, we still can't hear you. I can't read lips either. I will. I'll add you back. Okay, Bill will be back. Technical difficulties. Let's go. But anyways, thank you all for coming back to this episode. I know we've been gone for a hot minute. All of us here were at Star Wars Celebration, and then after that, I had to travel for work and stuff. So it's been a long time. But Preston, I know this was your very first Star Wars Celebration. So why don't you just give us some of the rundown, some of the omelet talk, all that stuff about your first Star Wars Celebration?
The omelet talk. Man, I don't know. It was a blast. I really didn't know what to expect going into it. There was a lot of, because it wasn't even just my first celebration, but I'd never been to a convention before. And I love this kind of stuff for so long. So I'm doing well. Thank you, Jerry. I had a ton of fun though. The panels were so cool. That was really, really awesome. But the best thing was just meeting everybody and getting to meet a lot of people who I'd known, only online. Sean specifically. That was I don't know if I said that was the best part, but that was definitely a part of that experience. Josh said omelet gate.
Never forget omelet gate. But there's a bunch of inside jokes. Preston and I have a few friends that we went to celebration with, and basically our first day was, I think you and I both got there on Tuesday. Celebration didn't start till Thursday, so we had a full night and then a full day before the convention even began. So that first night, I guess we can just kind of give some people some of the recap. I was staying with our friends Nathan and Carson, and then we all met up at Disneyland. It's not called Disney Springs there, is it? Or is it just downtown Disney?
It's downtown Disney in California.
Okay. Yeah. So we all met up there, got some food, and I had trouble finding the bathroom. I'm sure Preston remembered that. They gave me instructions on where the bathroom was, and I was gone for 25 minutes.
I'm surprised you remember that.
Yeah, that was a fun time. And then let's see, Wednesday when we went to the Academy Awards Museum in downtown LA. So that was fun. Yes, Noah, Disney adult meetup. And then the convention started, and that was a ton of fun. You and I both got to go to the Kenobi premiere. Shout out to our buddy Sean for stealing a bunch of wristbands that got us in.
Oh yeah.
And it was a great experience. Bill is texting me right now. He said, "Shit, LOL, I'm gonna reboot." So while we have a reboot, why don't we introduce someone who is far superior to Bill Sheehy, Connor, the One-Eyed Knight. Connor, how are you doing?
I'm all right. I literally just got home from work 3 minutes ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Makes us feel special.
Yep. I thought I was going to get done at 7:30. I thought I was going to be home at 7:30. So when I got off the train and it was like 6:50 something, I was like, oh shit, I can make this like a lot earlier than I thought.
Very bomb bat of you.
Very bomb bat.
Charlie has a very important question.
It was good. I wasn't there, but like I wish I was, but like it was good. Yeah. I live streamed all 4 days. That was fun.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I know you and Jared were doing that. But so we were just kind of talking about our celebration experience. Once Bill gets back from his reboot, we will we'll include him on this. But Bill was only with us for about 2 days at celebration. He had a wedding to go to. So he left Saturday morning. But so kind of in our timeline that I've been talking about right now. So Thursday happened. Preston, what was your first, you walk into the convention center, we get there really early and then get escorted into the wrong area and miss the first panel. What did you think about that?
I wasn't as let down as everybody else was, I think, in that moment, because it was my first time. It was like my first day at my first celebration ever. So I was just still kind of like wide-eyed, just like, oh, this is so cool. There's so many people. There's so many things. But, I think everybody else was a little bit more, or at least in our group, were a little bit more like, what the heck? We thought we were going to get into the, the studio showcase panel.
Yeah.
But for me, I was fine. I was like, I didn't expect to get into that in the first place. So the fact that I had 30 minutes where I thought I might was kind of cool, but I wasn't too let down. But it was all.
To fill everyone in, what happened was we had some friends that were like in the standby lane for the studio showcase panel, and we like went in line with them, and you see all these other people in line moving, and they're like getting into the panel, and you're like, okay, so you wait your turn, and then finally our line's moving, so we book it. And I guess what was supposed to happen is we go through this like this door, and we were supposed to turn right, but no one told us that, so we turned left. And when we turn left, we get to the Star Wars Celebration.com stage. I think that's what it was called. It was where they had like the Star Wars people come out and talk to like Andy Gutierrez and those kind of people. So that wasn't like the actual stage where stuff was happening. That apparently was the right turn that we didn't make. So we were in line and we did everything. And then we go to the wrong stage and we missed the panel, which was disappointing. But then basically we were following it on our phones. We were like sitting on the ground, just like watching the Andor trailer, like all that stuff, which was cool. And then I don't even remember what happened after that, but at some point our friend Sean kept getting bracelets that were for the people who were at that studio showcase panel, because the bracelets were basically for could get admitted to the Kenobi screening later that day. And I think Bill is back. Bill?
He's here. Okay. Hello, friends.
The voice of God.
Hi,
Bill.
Bill.
Oh my God.
Bill,
I am so sorry. What are we talking about?
It's all good. I don't know what happened because you were
I'm just here. Minority. That is
favorite minority.
That is just that is a way to get back into the episode. Where were we at, guys?
We were just talking about how Sean got us a bunch of the bracelets for the Kenobi screening. And that's kind of where we were in the timeline. But Bill, what was your experience at that Kenobi screening? For people who don't know, we got to see Kenobi a little bit, like half an hour early, with some of the cast there.
Yeah, I think that the Kenobi premiere itself is easily one of the coolest effing things that I've ever been able to be a part of. What's up, Nick? Because I think for me at least, like that day started kind of shittily.
We were talking about that.
Yeah, where like it was, yes, you're at Celebration, but like we kind of waited in line for what we thought was going to be us getting into like the big Lucasfilm panel.
I would also like to give credit to Edgat.
Yeah, Edgat, absolutely. And so, going from that to where the day started, where we were like waiting in line, saying, "This sucks. We don't want anything. We're gonna go to Blaze Pizza instead."
Hey man, at least we didn't live tweet our negative experience and then delete all those tweets.
That's true. We could have done that. We could have done that.
Yeah,
but
we could have done that.
To be in that room and shout out to Sean because like he just like that dude is a
on
menace.
Gussie, baby, on Gussie.
He's a menace, but I love him because like he
a
just
menace.
It just all of a sudden he was like, I'm gonna try to get in, and then he was just in the Lucasfilm panel, and then was pretty much the reason we were able to go to the Kenobi premiere. But the Kenobi premiere itself, just like from me getting that box of Kenobi branded Frosted Flakes, which that guy who was like giving them out at
you were like
I was just
so hard for
I was dancing. I like they were like dance if you want these Kenobi Frosted Flakes and Pringles, and I was dancing. And this guy who was like handing them out, like he just had a bag of like Kenobi Frosted Flakes. Like I was dancing in front of him, and like he was handing boxes of Frosted Flakes to everybody around me. And like to the point where like I was dancing and like he looked at me, like reached out his hand, like with a thing of Frosted Flakes,
ashamed of,
and like went around me, like I was like right here, I was dancing, and then he went like right around me to the person behind me, and then like the last box he gave to me. I was like, what the hell, man? But it was such
so uncivilized.
It was such a cool experience to be a part of because like, you know, it you're at a premiere and like they made you
there was a red carpet too.
There was a red carpet, like, there was everything.
I don't know if my StreamYard works too well. But I have the pictures on my phone, so I can just like pull my phone up. But like there was like an actual red carpet of like a carpet that was red, and some weird BMWs or no, some Volkswagens.
I think it was Volks, yeah.
I don't know if it was
but
Volkswagens, but and they also had the costumes on display, so stuff like that. I should really figure out how to pull these pictures up on my MacBook, but like. And you know we'll talk about this later, like because like my celebration experience was like Kenobi premiere, getting COVID, and then quarantine for a week. But it just was a very, very that was I one of my favorite parts of the premiere was like seeing the celebrities that would walk in. Like the first one that I saw was Sam Witwer. So I think all of us around, like we were the first people that saw Sam. I saw Sam and I tapped and I go, that's Sam Witwer. And then we all just went, and then he like
he looked over and he was like he just smiled and it was like, oh, that's so cool. And like it just like you can say I think there's a lot of negative that you can talk about with Celebration in terms of like how like it was run and organized, but like being in that room as like, you know, Sam Witwer is walking by. O'Shea Jackson Jr. The cast is like within like you can like touch them. I didn't touch them, but like
this is supposed to be an Obi-Wan show.
I know.
Excuse me, guys.
You and Mac Gregor. That's right. It was just I don't know about you, Trey, but like because we sat next to each other, but like just feeling the energy in the room and like I think the story beats that happen in the first two episodes were kind of, you know, taken to the nth degree because you're in a room full of Star Wars fans that like want to see this succeed.
It was like watching No Way Home at a theater.
Yeah,
like, that's like the experience.
But it's like watching No Way Home and Tom Holland is right there. Like, because like the entire cast was there. Deborah Chow was there. Just, you know, it you know, a couple of the things leaked before it came out, but like just like being in that room and seeing like, okay, oh shit, Bail Organa's in this, a young Leia's in this. Like it's still like the beats that like you would like that would hit at home hit even more because you're just in a room with like-minded people that just want to see it.
And then after the show premiered, the cast of Kenobi came out and they introduced everyone. O'Shea Jackson Jr. was there. The woman who plays that Imperial who turned, I don't remember her name. was there. Like basically everyone who's shown up and O'Shea Jackson Jr. was there. But then at the end, and they were like, and then the actress who plays little Leia comes out and like runs and like hugs people, and she got the biggest applause there. Probably.
Absolutely.
Don't let Twitter make you think that she's a bad actress or that people don't like her, because she got a huge ovation. Moses Ingram got a huge ovation. Okay. Indira Varma. That is
Indira Varma. Thank you, Charlie.
Leia. That is the other person. Yeah.
Fellow Brit Charlie Ashby, knowing.
Yeah.
Being at Star Wars Celebration is like Obi-Wan Kenobi during the first third of Revenge of the Sith. Being home on Twitter is like being old Ben saying, "I'm getting too old for 100%."
Celebration
100%.
fun. Star Wars Twitter not fun.
Exactly.
My day today would show you guys, but
and another thing that like just talking about Celebration, the love for Ewan, but especially Hayden, like that dude, whenever he was like on the live stage or anything, like there was a portion of the Attack of the Clones 20th anniversary panel where like they just said Hayden and there was a standing ovation. Yeah. Like it's as a child of the prequels, to see an actor, to see a character that was so instrumental to me as a kid, getting the recognition, I think was the coolest part of this celebration.
Yeah. And like, sorry, Bill, I'll let you finish.
No, go ahead. No, I was finished. Go ahead.
So what's funny about Thursday is I wouldn't even say the Kenobi premiere was the best part of my day. Mm-hmm. The best part of my day is what happened right after.
Yeah.
Our good friends at Pink Milk,
man,
at Serving Pink Milk on Twitter. Bill, I can't show the pictures on the screen, but they threw a party, or
there was a meetup.
I guess
there was a meetup
at a bar, and it was awesome. It was so much fun. I paid about $10 for Dancing Queen to come on because the jukebox I wouldn't accept my request, so I kept feeding it more and more money. Jerry, what a night indeed, boy! I have some pictures that I can show you all later.
Man,
it was so much fun.
So,
our friend Carson, he had just a blast drinking those Moscow Mules that night. He took my sunglasses, wore them inside, even though it was pitch dark in there. Bill got some signatures on his body from everyone there.
Every part of my body,
crazy.
Every
Scotty
part of my
was
body.
in his tracksuit, just going nuts.
He was being Scotty.
Scotty, a few friends of ours, it was their first time at a bar, which that was magical. First time at a bar. Alden was going nuts. Had some amazing people there. Lillian from Lucasfilm was amazing.
And that's her.
Yeah. How does that make you feel?
Not great. It really doesn't make me feel great. Because I don't know if you know about this, if you know this about me, but I like to party a little bit. I like to partake in a little bit of the bourbon, the alcohol. Bill was in his element.
He refers to himself in the third person. That's how you know it's bad.
To put it bluntly, it started.
Here's one picture that I can show. It's our good friend Chase.
God, I love Bill. That guy.
I love that guy so much. This was not the only part of Bill's body that was signed. That is all.
There are some deeply
There's some pictures I have.
Personal pictures of Bill that we will never, that only people there will ever get to see. But that was like the most memorable.
Oh, Charlie's talking about the Imperial Senate podcast live, an episode that I was on. That was a great night. Charlie was having a time. So Bill's ass was shaking at Pink Milk. Charlie's ass was shaking at that night.
Here's the thing: I don't feel embarrassment generally ever. It's just like, oh no, what is this? It's not an embarrassment. It's like the thing that I felt was like, oh no, Noah.
It's okay. Noah, we'll show the Night of Noah exclusively.
The Night of Noah is the cinematic event of the decade. And if it was so, for those of you that don't know, that my celebration experience was a little different than I wasn't able to stay the entirety of the event because I had to go back to Lexington for a wedding on Saturday. So like I kind of my Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I got in Wednesday, Thursday night, stayed out until Wednesday
night you were out at like 9:30. I thought Bill was having like partying with everyone, and then I came back to the hotel and he was like he woke up like, what? Like, where am I? I was like, okay, guess we're not having a party at this hotel.
We're the funny thing
hang out with Jerry.
What was the tweet, or not the tweet, the text in the group in the Goon Squad was like, Bill is passed out, slightly naked, which is like just
and then I texted Jerry and I was like, okay, we got to go to your hotel. Bill is sleeping at 10 o'clock.
Bill is asleep at 10 o'clock. Well, that's because I had flown in and like had gone around Anaheim and was already a little tipsy at like
I was there day
3
prior.
p.m.
But anyways, after that amazing pink milk experience, the next day was the Attack of the Clones panel, which was very fun. Bill and I accompanied Scotty J-Ro and his lovely fiance Katie, and went to Korean barbecue. Preston is now back, by the way.
There he is.
There he is. Then my sunglasses shattered, which was a fun experience for me.
I just remember like that whole thing.
I'm gonna go get those sunglasses.
We were just to give Trey and I think we were coming back from dinner with Scotty and Katie, and we were just walking back to our room. Just nothing like we weren't like obscenely drunk or anything. We were just walking back to the hotel room. Yeah, it was. We were walking back, and I remember just like looking back at you and like you tilted a little, and like they
went like that.
Your sunglasses fell down, and immediately the glasses went.
Yeah, I did my best Connor impression because I am also now a one-eyed knight.
There he is. Look at him. He's beautiful, isn't he?
Wonderful. Love you, Connor. So that happened. We were able to meet our great friend Theron and Jazz. I
want to meet Theron so bad, dude.
Theron and Jazz are the sweetest people in the fucking world. Like,
I met them for the first time outside the High Republic panel.
Mm-hmm.
Preston, that was his favorite panel of the week. He
has it was
every single High Republic book. And, Preston, who's your favorite High Republic character?
Oh, Trey, when I think about the High Republic, there's just
a little loud. I'm just letting you know.
There's just so many characters.
Preston was telling me before we started he loves Gonzo. Kermit's also is one of his favorite characters.
Oh yeah. But my absolute favorite has to be
Club Shido.
Club Shido.
At least
it's Fozzie Bear. Fozzie Bear.
At least you could be. Jedi. You're better than Scotty J-Ro, who I have an incriminating voice message from saying he would rather listen to quote a Star Wars theory video than read another mid-ass High Republic book.
Stop it!
I can't confirm that.
That's so rude. That's so rude. Why would you say that?
As someone who has read none of them,
so
I
Preston,
can't hate on the man.
What's your favorite part of the High Republic? Like, is it
the high part?
All right.
Noah has made a promise to.
Noah, you need to do it.
Into the High Republic.
Yeah.
Noah,
and I'll let him. I'll let him try. And I'm not going to resist.
Reading.
Nah, me and Noah will team up.
That's the problem.
Noah, who is a noted fan of the police.
Noah, who is whoop 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 whoop. But then just kind of wrapping up some celebration talk. Friday, I think it was Friday or let's see, no, Saturday. Saturday there were some amazing podcast live shows at the podcast stage at Celebration.
It was Pink Milks, right?
Pink Milk, and then the first one was oh God, why can't I remember the name of the show? Triad of the Force. Triad.
Yeah,
I'm so glad I remember that.
That's Alden's, right?
I would have felt so guilty if I didn't remember that. But our friend Goose hosted. That's his podcast. It was amazing meeting him. Alden, Katrina was also there. That was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed hearing that conversation. And then, right after that was Pink Milk. And I will be honest with you all. Before I get into a emotional story, whoop is correct, Jerry. I cried at the Pink Milk podcast live show because it was just it's really an interesting eye-opening experience hearing the perspective of a Star Wars fan who doesn't have the same experiences as you. For all intents and purposes, I'm straight, but hearing the perspective of Brian from Pink Milk, who has 3 sons and has experienced Star Wars with a very different lens than I have, because he's grown up in a world that was not friendly to him for his sexual orientation. He's gay, and he has 3 sons, or 3 or 4 sons. He's a father, and hearing his perspective about Star Wars was it was beautiful. He talked about The Mandalorian and how Din's experience with Grogu, he related to that with his own children. And it was just amazing. And I cried there. It was at like 10:30 a.m. on Saturday, and it was beautiful. And I love hearing the experiences of Star Wars fans who, are a little bit different than I am, and we don't have the same experiences. And it was just beautiful. And that podcast stage was so great. And the Pink Milk people were just so much fun. Saturday night, Preston and I, we went and just hung out with them at like 1 a.m. at their hotel. And it was great. We had a great time. Scotty ordered some pizza, and Paul Stanley showed up. So it was so much fun.
Paul Stanley keeps showing up everywhere. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, and Jerry's saying it felt like church, and it did. It was a full house. Molly and Alex Damon from Star Wars Explained were there. They were it was full, and it was just awesome feeling the love and respect of the community towards them, because I'm not going to speak for their experiences, but I know that fandom can be hard when you're not a straight white male. So it was really awesome, and so that was great.
I'm a queer person as well, but what was interesting to me, I wish I could have been at the panel, but I had I had a couple of conversations with some people that work at Lucasfilm, and the overwhelming thing that they talked about Pink Milk a lot, which was having queer people, having them be a force for good in this fandom. There's a lot of darkness in this fandom, but like seeing them shine, and then also seeing people that work there acknowledge them and say, hey, we love them, we want to see more of them.
Lucasfilm decided,
I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
They could have denied them, and they
could have.
And they admitted them, and it was awesome.
And
I love them for that.
They are all wonderful people. Having spent Thursday night with them, we are some of them having signed me. They are wonderful people, and I love when wonderful things happen to wonderful people.
And they got a shout out on at the end of the live stream.
That's so cool. Yeah. Like that's it, man. Like when, like I said, when there's so much darkness,
I cheered when that happened.
When the official Star Wars show points out, like, hey, we like these people.
Star Wars Explained and Pink Milk to have to have any podcast in the same conversation as Star Wars Explained would be an amazing accomplishment. So I love that for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hats off to them, man.
And then
that's awesome.
Basically, so at this point in the timeline, we're half an hour in. I promise we'll get to Kenobi.
We will get there. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. On Sunday, Preston and I were able to get a picture with Kelly Marie Tran, which was amazing. She is one of the sweetest people I've ever spent 15 seconds with. And it was
that's a glorified 15.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Still good, still great, but yeah.
Yeah. And Sunday
they call that 15 seconds is usually called the Patino, but we'll keep going.
Nice. But yeah, Sunday was fun. I left Monday. I flew back to Florida on Monday, and Sunday night got some dinner with some people. Claire, the Imperial Senate people, our friend Charlie, who's been in the comments. And it was a ton of fun. And I remember saying goodbye to all those people, and I got choked up. Like it's sad, like saying goodbye to all your friends that you interact with a lot online through group chats and iMessage chats and whatever. It was hard to like say goodbye to people. And then I went back, spent the night with my friends Nathan and Carson, and flew home the next morning. And just like that, you waited 3 years for this experience, and then it's over. So it was an amazing time at Celebration. Met some amazing people, and I don't think I'm gonna be going to the next one. I think I'll be at not him. I will happily go to his wedding, but I think his wedding I will be at next year.
Same, and like I think that's gonna be our Star Wars celebration. Like that's gonna work.
I mean, celebration is all about the people, man. Like
that'll literally be my Star Wars celebration.
Maybe
Scotty's wedding.
Maybe the Star Wars celebration was the friends we made along the way. I'm so sorry to say that, but like that feels like it is.
I was with Preston when they announced when and where the next celebration was going to be, and I had heard the night before. Because basically how celebration worked is everyone hung out. I think it was the Marriott hotel bar or the Hilton. I don't remember what. But like all of our friends were there. Ken Knapsack, Joseph Scrimshaw, everyone from Force Center. Loved meeting them.
By the way, shout out to Ken Knapsack. Like I told him this. Like him, Harloff are the reason I'm here. Yeah. Like I started podcasting because like I liked what they were doing, and like to be able, like for him to be like gracious enough to like hang out with me, Trey, Alden, and like it was just really, really cool. Like it felt full circle.
Well, when we ran into them on the street, I told them that we were friends with Alden Diaz, and speaking of that man. He's here.
There he is.
He's here. The tapestry man himself.
He's here, and he's beautiful. I honestly think that the tapestry is still written on my ass right now.
Look, you didn't have to say what I wrote, right?
Well,
you didn't have to. That was before us.
Damn it, Bill.
Here, hold on.
That was for us.
It could still be there. I have not.
Does that mean you don't wash your ass well enough?
I mean, I do like the gooch part, but like the cheeks are
TMI. Bill,
sure.
TMI.
Just a little gooch talk.
Just a little.
Friday.
Welcome to Skywalking through the gooch.
More like
we were just talking about the Marriott bar and the amazing conversations and the amazing time Charlie was having Saturday night.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've watched this entire episode so far tonight. I've been sitting here,
beautiful,
headphones on. Debating. I put it to democracy. I said one like
here.
Oh,
one like and I'll join
Skywalking. Kelly, listen. I know we've never met before. I am so sorry.
The Bill Sheehy experience, Kelly.
I'm so sorry.
I got a signed copy of Kelly's book. Let me grab that.
I want to see it.
Neat.
Alden threads in real life are amazing.
So we got Kelly Knox wrote "Be More Obi-Wan: Navigate Your World with Wit and Wisdom." Just came out. She signed it for Alden. Everything you say on Twitter is right. I don't know why more people aren't paying you to say what you have to say. You give it all away for free. You're the best. Love, Kelly. Shouldn't actually say all that. It actually just reads for Alden, Kelly. But still.
Alden, I will also say that one of my favorite like officially meeting someone is like I saw you next to the food trucks at Celebration
in my natural habitat.
And then like I hugged you next to a garbage can and immediately fell down, like next to the garbage.
It was very fitting. Well, it's funny because your sister and all of our friends, Anakin Sheehy, I told her that when we met, I would FaceTime her no matter what time it was, no matter what I was doing. And how fitting that it happened right by trash.
It did.
That's not anything Star Wars related. Just trash.
That really is the Sheehy experience. Just
I met
total trash.
on Batu. That was a
fun
experience.
Yep,
Rise of the Resistance had broken mid ride. And that was our friend Carson's first time on Rise of the Resistance.
Well, it was also funny from my perspective because I'm going into Disneyland. Well, I had been at California Adventure, and I finished up dinner at California Adventure, and I walked across, and Trey's like, "If you get here in time, you might be able to get on." And I'm like, "I don't know, et cetera, et cetera." And then I'm like, maybe in the back of my mind, I'm like, maybe I will get on with these guys. And then I get a text that's like, "We're being evacuated off the ride."
Resistance has taken over.
Yeah,
that was fun,
not
though.
a great first time for you guys, but
the resistance is no longer rising.
Nope.
Yeah, seems very authentic to Star Wars that happened.
Yeah. Well, I feel bad because I had been on the Rise of the Resistance. Honestly, my only times on Rise of the Resistance were with Preston and Bill, two of the people on this podcast right now. Preston was my first experience on Rise of the Resistance. And he hyped it up. He hyped it up to God tier levels. He was saying,
"Can I
this is the
explain
great experience
myself
of your life? You were gonna cry." Okay, Preston.
Okay, I didn't say that. I hyped it up a lot because I'm a very big Disney Parks guy. Like that's something that I like.
I didn't know that.
I'm explaining for people who don't, because you might leave out.
I do because I met this man.
That important detail, and from like an Imagineering standpoint, it is amazing, and it is one of the best things that they have ever done. Yeah. But it's not a roller coaster, and if you, depending on what your experience with theme parks is and how much you care and how much you're interested in them, I'm into Disney parks as much as I am Star Wars, if not more. So
it's more.
I hyped it up quite a lot.
It is,
but to Trey, it was not as big of a thing.
You know what I want to hype up just while we have Preston here? I saw you post yesterday about Coronado Springs. That restaurant right in the middle of the lake there has a burger that is so good that I think about it probably at least once a week. I love that.
I love that place. I love that place so much.
Good.
Kelly, I don't know if it's the favorite I've been on. It's definitely the best in Galaxy's Edge because the Smuggler's Run is not good.
Don't say that.
No,
Smuggler's Run is a video game.
You and I got the engineers.
We did.
That's why it's not good.
Oh, you weren't a pilot?
Bill I was Sheehy over here.
Stop it. Listen.
You have to negotiate with the people around you.
No, I did.
Dude, I crashed the Falcon like 3 times.
You don't want me to tell it? So
you can tell them.
Bill,
it's a Friday night.
Bill,
I don't
you
care.
have no excuse. I crashed the Falcon with like twice with one eye, and I
didn't
still got the coaxium.
So I was, let's just say I was in an inebriated state.
We had a few too many blue milks. That's all we'll say.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't give me the blue milk excuse.
No, the Falcon, if you are...
No, it's not even a DUI. We were engineers. We couldn't drive. Like, that was the worst part. Like,
I will admit that the
What
gunner and engineer stuff, you just have to hit it when it lights up.
Yeah.
That's literally
that's
stupid.
But
kind of stupid.
I will say that's for the kids. But if you are pilot, specifically the right seat pilot, because you get to hit light speed, that is the most satisfying.
It was
rush.
Phenomenal. I was like, I'll never forget when I did it when I was at Galaxy's Edge in like early April. When I did it, I was like, it didn't really hit me at first. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
I don't know about that. You live tweeted it all, and I watched all those videos. It definitely
hit you. Okay. I know I did. Yeah.
He's like, actually, I think it did hit you, sir.
It's like, wait a minute. Like, I have the receipts. Reagan, that was a religious experience. Actually, no.
Pull up Reagan's comment, Trey.
Again?
I was not drunk. I was half melted from the sun, and that's the only thing I'll say about that, because it was just, I was in a inebriated state, but it just didn't hit me like I wanted it to. But
DUIs in space.
DUIs in space. DUIs in space. So That's a celebration experience.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Kenobi.
We are 40 minutes in and we haven't talked about Kenobi. So let's transition a little bit into Kenobi. Because we are now 4 episodes in. We talked a little bit about the premiere, which I think everybody except Connor was able to go to in here.
I wasn't there. I was
okay.
home. I was
Connor.
right here.
You were here.
Okay.
You were there in spirit, really.
So here's the actual really cool part. So I don't know if did they tell you guys, or did you guys find out that like, oh yeah, it's coming out like 3 hours early?
No,
okay.
I think we found out like after we got out, we got out.
Yeah, I was walking out and I texted Ken and he said, "How was it?" I said it was great. He goes, "Okay, I'm about to watch." And I was like, "What did screeners go out?" Like I was really confused. He said, "No, it's on Disney Plus." I was like, "That's so strange." Yeah,
if you want to check it out, I think it's on the Nerd Academy's Day 1 recap. I literally like freaked the fuck out. I freaked the fuck out a lot during the live stream, during certain moments. But like that was one of those freak out moments where like I'm just on Twitter scrolling as Jared and I are just recapping the day's events, and I'm just like, bro, it's dropping 3 hours early, and it's just like
they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. And
I wish every episode
great.
of this show would drop at.
I wish no, even better. 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're not all HBO Max, Connor.
And so
that's not even
HBO Max does have the best.
Connor,
if I could have HBO,
everyone's live tweeting it at the same time.
If I could have HBO Max's drop time with the Disney Plus interface, but with the well-oiled machine of the Netflix interface, like the aesthetics of Disney, that'd be
he's asking for too much.
So if HBO Max had a threesome with Netflix and Disney Plus,
yes, correct.
So
Amazon Prime's interface can die in a fire.
It's been stuck in 2006.
Yeah. It's an awful.
It's just so bad. And
Peacock's is also terrible.
It is, but Connor,
no one talking about Peacock.
Connor, since you weren't at the premiere, let's start with you.
What
has been your impression of Kenobi through 4 episodes? Has it lived up to your expectations? Exceeded your expectations? What is the one-eyed knight himself thought about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series?
It's great. Also, hi Jess, even though she literally just dipped. But
She's
whatever.
pulling up a chair.
Oh,
bring
nice.
her in. Bring her in.
I think it's really good. So right now, at least, I think episode 1's probably my favorite because like there was a lot of just really awesome setup, slow moving parts. And we just got to see like Kenobi just refuse time after time in that episode to just join the fight. Nari tries to get him. Bale tries to get him like twice. I think there was maybe one other moment. Ben and Kenobi's just like, I'm not doing this, man. I'm not doing this. And I really liked that. And just the fact that we got the first 2 episodes was super sick. Mm-hmm. And then like we only had to wait like 5 days for the 3rd episode.
Yep.
I really like Kenobi so far. I think it's out of the Disney Plus shows right now, it's my favorite. Yeah. And I'm kind of biased because I'm big on Jedi and Force shit. Like my top 3 stories are High Republic, Fallen Order, and Rebels.
You kind of like order. Fallen Order, right? You like that's like kind of your
it's kind of my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've only beaten the game like 25 times.
Yeah.
That's a little low. That's a little weak, don't you think?
Rookie numbers.
Rookie numbers. Get them up. Get them up.
But
or you could be like our friend Nikki Kumar and hate that game.
Yeah.
Nikki
Bad Takes Kumar.
I will speak for my collaborator. He doesn't hate Fallen Order. He hates Cal Kestis.
That's even worse.
He hates redheads. That's even worse.
It just so happens that the least interesting character is the one you play as, which is the fault of no one, except the people.
I wish it was a Rio Durant game.
Fuck off, Alden.
A Rio Durant game would be great. You're just cooking. It's Cooking Mama. It's from Nintendo DS.
I love it. I love it.
I'm really liking it. Mm-hmm. I think people have probably said this online already. Like, okay, let me specify: the good people,
Not
you
soups.
specify. Yeah, not soups, not
Man, Soups.
any of the other people.
We're gonna get into
online.
that.
Soups, you're watching, and I know you
Skywalker
are.
show.
Why are Soups just at me, man? You posted that Dong Mace Windu take once, and I responded. You didn't respond.
It should
What's up
be
with
more
that?
like the Star Wars theory
That-
Vader show.
Yeah,
Clearly.
Yeah.
sound like you didn't have a trilogy.
Yeah, and like
Where's
six
my
movies.
Darth Vader spin-off series?
Finally,
Yeah.
Are.
finally.
Otherwise known as
read
episodes 1 through 6.
2017 Vader comics. There's your series.
They
Listen,
can't read.
My only complaint about the
Origins of the
Kenobi
Sith.
I can't
series
read.
so far is they haven't killed enough kids. Like that's the only complaint I have so far.
Mm.
But the thing that I've seen some friends of mine saying is that, like, I feel like once we marathon it, once all 6 episodes are out and we just go just 1 to 6, it'll feel like better. Not better for me, but like it really hasn't hit me yet. Like I
It'll be
know
more
it's my
cohesive.
favorite. Yeah, it'll be like more cohesive, and it'll be like, oh, so that's why that thing happened here, and like, so it'll just be like the wow factor will hit me once I go from 1 to 6. Whereas like we're just doing the week.
Are you implying that a completed
We-
work of art like brings the entire thing together?
Yes,
What?
Alden.
Who
No
knew?
Yes.
way.
Imagine if
I'm,
you,
I'm
like,
implying that, and I'm not doing this bullshit of like each TV episode should be judged on its own merit. This, aside from its place in the narrative, and like some shit with that. But like it's just, and I'm just like, yes, but also fuck off.
I'm sorry. Like, if you don't watch the end of episode 2 of Kenobi and get sexually excited, there's something wrong with you. Like,
Or you're Mr. Flickinger and you think a child hanging down from a
Oh my gosh.
I don't know thing is looks
I
terrible.
like
Flickinger is 0-1
Alden's
in the
favorite
Schmodown, and he's 0-1 against Alden. Those are
he's 0-1 against Bill, which you know how bad you have to
yeah.
be 0-1one against Bill.
No.
Bill,
like,
what
I-
did
like,
you call
I've
him?
s-
Walmart brand what?
Walmart brand Jimmy Tatro over there.
I don't even get that joke, and I love it.
You'd have to
Tat-
He
Go-
could
Google-
never do American Vandal.
could never do it. Could never do it. But like, what I love about Kenobi so far is that there are moments in this series that are my favorite Star Wars moments. Period.
Like what?
Like I said, the end of episode 2, Obi-Wan discovering that Anakin is still alive. The emotion that Ewan is able to convey in that,
Which has always been a thing. Like
exactly.
I have
Like-
one eye. I have one functioning eye, and I still have more media literacy than these people.
And
that
that
are bitching
listen,
about the fact that and Obi-Wan not knowing Anakin is alive
There he is.
doesn't equate to Obi-Wan just the writers just being oblivious to Revenge of the Sith and Obi-Wan not knowing Anakin is Vader. Obi-Wan knows Anakin is Vader. He just
He doesn't know Vader is.
the transition from Obi-Wan saying Anakin
to just
to Vader in the back to tank,
phenomenal.
opening his eyes.
The sound cue is great.
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
And, you know, like I don't know, people saying that this should be an Obi-Wan show, like we're getting too much Reva and Obi-Wan. This show is about Obi-Wan discovering that Anakin is alive, coming to terms with that, and then being like, okay, I need to step my game up, and I need to be the Jedi that has to save this galaxy and like protect Luke and Leia, and that's what this show is. That's
Yeah.
what I wanted this show
Also,
to be.
I just want to say I resent the entire notion that I'm so sick and tired of this nonsense title discourse that we've been having since the Book of Boba Fett. Like, let's back it up to some of the greatest shows to ever hit either network television or specifically in genre. Like, to say that Frasier didn't have arcs about the
Or
other
Impractical
characters.
Jokers, yeah.
To say that, of course, to say that, but like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, every single person has an arc. Angel, every single person has an arc. Felicity, every single person has an arc. To say that like these shows only need to account for the person that was there. Why? Because it's what you wanted. Like what you wanted has nothing to do with it. Obi-Wan, he's just, what is it going to be? A music video of him in the desert? Is it going to be like the end of the Saga Begins where it's 1,000 Weird Owls, just himself?
No, it'll just be a Wikipedia article.
That's what they want. And it blows my mind that they don't want rich supporting casts. It doesn't make...
Hey, Danny.
It just blows
It
my
just
mind.
blows my... Okay, no. It doesn't blow my mind that...
Is that a joke?
Star Wars fans...
You don't think Frasier is one of the greatest shows of all time?
I think we need to send Charlie the StreamYard link and have
bring him in.
No,
we bring him in.
Seen one episode.
Let him
It's
sit
like-
in the chat with FOMO.
I think
it's
Star
true.
Wars... I think like just Star Wars fans just don't want a narrative or a cohesive narrative or a good narrative. Like they just...
Well, it's beyond
some
Star Wars
fans just don't.
It's
I mean,
beyond
that
Star
too,
Wars.
all of it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I don't want to say his name because I don't want to put, I don't
I'll say it.
highlighting
Spell it.
a theory.
SWP.
Oh.
SW. I think that most Star Wars fans want what that particular creator wants, and that is just not an
You want
adult.
Anakin to murder children?
Here's the thing. I don't even think that that's true.
I know, because like whenever I like meet a Star Wars fan that doesn't know that like I'm fully invested in like my podcast and like I keep up to date with this, like whenever they talk about Star Wars, it's always in like I hate The Last Jedi because it didn't
Not my
understand Luke.
Hey,
Not my Luke. Like
Ray Skywalker, hate her.
by the way, noted misogynist Trey Mitchell over here.
Yeah, man. I love
you hate women.
I hate women. I talk about my love for Ray Skywalker.
Just outed this man.
Blue
That just line right there is going to be clipped out. I guarantee it.
I
The
just
goons will
think that
make short work of it.
Yeah, that was a day on Twitter today.
I really do think that most Star Wars fans want the theory version of Vader, and I just don't think that's ever going to happen.
I just think they're louder.
Yeah.
I think they're louder. I think that they infect these spaces, and I think that they, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I agree with Danny. I agree with Danny. I've said this before.
The
like
whole First Order instead of him doing like what's actually conscious and like makes sense for the story of the Last Jedi.
What actually goes back to the lessons of A New Hope and Empire in particular. Like, I think that the Star Wars fans that want Star Wars to be badass infect these spaces because they're the crossover fans of other things, whether that's Fast and Furious or Mission Impossible or whatever's in. And I'm not shading those things because they can be great, but I'm saying that when someone says they meets you in public, Bill, and is like, "Oh, you're a Star Wars fan," and you're like, "Yeah," and they say, "Would you like The Last Jedi?" That's because they saw it trending, and they want to be part of the conversation in the easiest way possible.
And here's the and I will say, like, when I tell just an average fan that I love The Last Jedi, like, fuck it, I'm wearing the shirt right now, like, and then I like explain my justification for why I love it and why that, like, why what Luke did is completely in character. It kind of they kind of like, okay, I understand where you're coming from. So like I'm just frustrated that when there are really interesting, great Star Wars stories to tell that don't include killing kids, like that don't like show just Vader being badass, that show, Vader being more emotionally, what's the word I'm looking for?
Charged.
Like some of the stuff that we're getting with Vader here, like the way he reacts to Reva in like episode 4, where he's
underneath.
Yeah, exactly. Where he's reacting and like, you were warned. Like that's like fucking Vader. That's so good. And like, I think that a lot of, I love when, going off Danny's point, I'm always, going off hers. I think it's a lot of Star Wars fans who, frankly, didn't pay attention in English class, didn't pay attention in any kind of film literacy, try to tell me how to make a good Star Wars movie, how to make a good story.
Right.
You don't get it.
And that's twofold, because the first thing is that there is no good. Like, that's all entirely subjective, but things like Rotten Tomatoes have melted our brains to the point where they don't understand how Rotten Tomatoes works. Where it's not like, if something gets a 50%, like Phantom Menace and Rise of Skywalker are both at what, 51, 52?
Yep.
That does not mean an F. American Public School and Rotten Tomatoes are not the same thing. It means polarizing. 50, half. It's a coin toss. That should interest you more, theoretically speaking, than your 80 to 100% films. A thing on Rotten Tomatoes can get 100% with all 3 out of 5 stars, with all C++. It's about aggregator of what is considered fresh for that review overall. But that dilutes and gets into the thumbnails and gets into the discussion and all the stuff. And it's not just Rotten Tomatoes. And it doesn't mean that they don't do good work in their podcasting and writing stuff.
Right.
But it just means that we've broken everything down to think that there's good and bad. That's problem one. Problem two is that you send everybody into schools and you have them in middle school and high school pointing out the main idea, even as early as elementary. Take a paragraph about trees. What's the main idea of the paragraph? Trees help us. And we used to circle that with crayons. Oh, you got what main idea is. And somewhere along the way, we stopped looking for the main idea in things and started deciding that what we wanted out of the thing was more important than what the thing was trying to do. You don't go to John Wick and say, I don't like this John Wick movie because there's not enough musical numbers. Well, it didn't try to do that. It was trying to do what it was doing. You judge it for what it is, not what it's not. And once we decided that it was okay to start judging things for what they weren't, we lost. Because they can go and say, this Obi-Wan Kenobi show isn't what I wanted. I wanted it to be about this guy and this guy. But when you try to tell them, well, people, characters, affect others, it's important to explore how Obi-Wan affects Tala and Roken and Leia, and how Freck affects them, and how Vader affects Reva, and how Reva affects Vader.
Where was Freck on January 6th?
Where was that man on Empire?
I have not seen. I haven't seen Freck at the hearings.
Freck is going to show up. Liz Cheney is going to start talking about Freck.
And Freck, the dishonor will stay with you until the end of your days.
How many of us thought that was Seth Rogen at first?
Yeah,
I know.
Seth Rogen
It sounds just like him.
I thought it was him.
Preston.
I know Braff did an interview about it, but I haven't read it.
I was disappointed when it was Zach Braff. I'm not gonna lie.
I love Zach Braff, and I'm really happy that he's finally in Star Wars. Just like
I was beefing with Zach Braff for a while. He didn't know we were beefing, but
wait, what? How? Alden, Alden, did you make a thread about it?
You didn't hear about it.
He was dating Florence Pugh, but I don't think they're dating anymore.
Oh, well,
I don't think so either.
I saw some pictures on.
She been vacationing.
Dylan O'Brien.
Preston.
I don't think it was Dylan.
What's up?
No, she was on vacation with Will Poulter and all their friends.
Will Poulter. That's
And then she had to do a post about how we aren't dating, and I'm just saying, Florence.
It's all about the machine, partner.
The Tapestry Man is available.
The Tapestry Man is available. Preston, we've been talking a lot about the main ideas of Kenobi, media literacy.
Yeah.
What has been your main takeaway from Kenobi so far?
I really thought what Alden said was you kind of hit it on the money. It's something that I actually posted about earlier today, is because, if what you said about when we started judging things on what they aren't, there's no worse way to critique something at all. You have to take it at face value, and there are fans who are going to dislike Kenobi for what it is. If you receive something, if you watch something, you say, I don't like that because of this and this, because of what it did, that's fine. In Kenobi's case, I disagree. I've loved Kenobi so far, especially episode 4. But point being, if you take it at what it is and you say, I don't like that, that's not for me, then that's fine. That's okay. As long as you're not being hateful, you can dislike something.
Those are discussions that make everything better. Is because I've for every 100 just awful bad faith Star Wars takes, there is that one that gets through that is negative, but it's a criticism that makes a lot of sense. Where I think Last Jedi is a great example. I think that the Rose DJ Finn arc is one of the most misunderstood arcs, and I will ride for it all the time. However, and I've heard tons of garbage about it, but then you talk to the right person. I'm talking about Richard Newby from Hollywood Reporter, who's come on my show a couple times, and we talked about it, and he presented his point of view on that storyline that was a critique of it that just made so much sense. And it's not a threat on me. It's not an attack on my take. And we personalize these things so much. So why?
It's my co-host.
Send them out.
Hey!
Send them out. Get them out.
I'm at work. I just wanted to say Scotty's a bitch, and that's all.
Okay.
Also, Trey is right. Whatever Trey's take is, Trey is correct.
Trey was advocating for Freck. You missed that.
Yeah, big Freck guy.
What?
He was advocating for Freck.
He also hates women.
I mean, Alderaan was a false flag. So.
Can't get no respect.
Oh my
No
God.
respect at all.
This is
It
who
was
I
a mining
podcast with,
disaster.
ladies and gentlemen. That is my co-host.
He works harder than all of us.
He is a gem. I love that, man.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Ashby.
So this is the Frasier podcast, right?
No.
I'm just so insulted that you don't think Frasier's
No.
one of the best shows.
I came on here to defend my words. I don't think Frasier's bad. That isn't. You misinterpreted what I meant. I just thought it was incredible that you were talking about these great shows with like first name characters. I just laughed because Frasier was like number 2 out of the picks of your head.
Yeah. Name me a bunch of shows that are named after a person. Frasier's going to come up.
Well, does it have to be the full name, or can it be like multiple? Like, I don't know. It just made me laugh. I don't know why.
Oh, so it made you laugh, but you can't counter argue it.
Huh?
Frasier, Buffy. I could say Sabrina.
Seinfeld.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Yeah.
Seinfeld does count. That's true. And Seinfeld, everyone else had stories of their own.
Yeah, Seinfeld I would have taken.
Everybody
a bit more
hates
than
Chris.
Frasier.
Everybody loves Raymond. I got those shows confused as a child.
Hannah Montana.
Charlie, welcome, my friend.
It's nice to see your
Charlie.
face for once.
That's so Raven.
Mwah.
You know.
That's a Raven.
Charlie, that kills
Better
people.
Call Saul, which is on right now, is a show about Saul Goodman that has entire plots that he's never in.
That's the mark of a good show. That really is the mark of a good show.
And I just don't understand where this, again, I really think that The Bad Batch and Book of Boba Fett broke people's brains.
Mm-hmm.
It really
I think it's
was
worse
a
than that.
moment.
I think this has happened for a while now. I think what you were saying about Rotten Tomatoes was pretty much on point. And again, it's a shame because it's not really Rotten Tomatoes' fault. They didn't do anything. It is literally a platform that has been misinterpreted and then used as a weapon. And let's be honest about this. Like, these YouTubers are doing it for profit.
Yeah.
This is why I hate it when I see people debate. It's not even really a debate. It's just people talking about it and then spreading or sharing people's pages. Right. You're like, all you're doing is just amplifying those voices.
But here's the thing. Here's the other thing too. And I'm not saying you're wrong. You are right. But I just want to add a note. When you say they're doing it for profit, that's true. And the sad thing is they're winning. Yes. There is no. I literally have been a broadcast professional for the last few years at a big company. They win. There is no analytical or left or pop culturally sound thing that catches on. The grift always catches on. The grift gets advertisers. The grift, I mean, your Manscapes and your Blue Chews and all of those companies that are about, is your manhood in question somehow, latch on to those channels and they win. They are making tons of money. All those people do it full time. They don't have to go to real jobs like the rest of us do, like pretty much everyone here on this stream. It all catches on. And so the battle is, I feel like Obi-Wan, the fight is done. We lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are winning. And so when they drive these conversations,
podcast, Mike, and bury it in the desert.
Wait, and when they drive those conversations, and then we all have to run and try to find the circles that actually embrace nuance. When those circles start to eat each other, which they have, which again, Book of Boba Fett, we could back it up really. Bad Batch, it's just cameos discourse, I think was one of the most harmful periods in online Star Wars, excluding I want to make this clear, excluding of course actual
it's
heinous behavior.
It's really interesting you bring up Bad Batch because I've been rewatching it recently, and like, you know, I think when Trey and I first reviewed it, I think our reaction was like, you know, it's a little slow, but like, I'm rewatching it and like I'm really enjoying it. Like there is a lot of like interesting character dynamics. I love that first episode is one of my favorite Star Wars stories. Like just seeing it and like
I'm just kidding.
It's I think Bad Batch, like looking at it now, is better than even like, you know, we're you know, Trey and I are traditionally very, very positive. We're not grifters. We're not doing all that. But like, even we at the beginning were like, you know, it's a little iffy. But like looking back at it now, like the story that they were able to tell, I think is, you know, it's not the traditional, like, what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't what it wasn't what I was expecting, but like revisiting it, like I appreciate it for what it is, you know.
Right, and but take yourself back to when it was airing.
Mm-hmm.
Not you, but just like not this show, obviously, but take it back. Like, what did we hear every week? Every week, when something wasn't exactly what they thought it was going to be, it would always be this.
It's filler.
Oh, it's filler. Oh, it's just a cameo of the week thing, and it's like, first of all, you're horribly misusing the word cameo. That's not what it is. Ironically, the movie that they all worship at the feet of, Rogue One, has more cameos that are actually
you better watch yourself.
Dictionary definition cameos. Whether it's Hanababa and Evazan, Chopper, Hera over the comms, like, and that's not a slight, but characters that are guest stars that come in to enhance the story. It's like it just is a fundamental misunderstanding of language in analysis. And I was rewatching one of my favorite movies, also named after a person, the Steve Jobs movie from 2015, and I tweeted a quote from the movie that I really love, which is that plays don't stop so the playwright can ask the audience what scene they'd like to see next. Like, I hate that. Like, I love week to week because it gives more shine to, like, Stranger Things being out is a great example, because Stranger Things is one of the biggest pop cultural phenomenons of the last decade, but it comes and goes in a flash.
We talk about it for 2 weeks and then we don't talk about it for 2 years.
And that's an insult to everyone. No one, unless you like just looked at it, can tell me who on the directing team of Stranger Things did what episode. No one.
I can.
Unless, well, yeah, you just watched it. That's what I just said. Unless you just looked at it. You just looked at it. But what I'm saying,
Duffer
like
Brothers,
with the
and they've done nothing else.
Duffer Brothers, and then which one did Stanton
Sean
do?
Levi,
Which one did Sean Levy do?
Sean Levy,
Which
yeah.
one that, we don't know.
Guy.
Yeah.
Episode
Yeah,
4.
but the
Also just
but
wanted
with
to
Mandalorian, like, you can actually point it out. But just before you say that real quick, just to finish that, the issue is that that's better for story, and it's better for creatives. Like Bryce Dallas Howard, we all love, and we're all waiting for her to get more. That would not be the case if it was a binge drop, because you wouldn't be able to appreciate what she does. But the problem is that the sites need to generate their ad revenue every single week, and so it's Wednesday, and Wednesday by noon they got to have a thing up, and then that just sucks all of the actual thought out of it.
What do y'all think about what Brent just said about the cameo discourse also started with Mando season 2?
I will always
like,
defend Mando season 2 stuff because I feel like it all advanced the plot. But I do think some of the reporting before the show even came out about the cameos made us expect them. So I don't think it was necessarily the show's fault. It was the reporting about, okay, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka.
Charlie, what do you think?
One thing that
Well, I love that
Alden said, or go ahead, Charlie.
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
No, you go first.
I was just gonna say, like, if they're not cameos, like what Alden was saying, like
They're not.
Mandalorian season 2, they're not, you know, it's not a 5-second spotlight for a character that's not necessarily a part of this story. Every character that, you know, these people are claiming are just simple like a cameo fest, new cameo every episode for Mandalorian season 2. those characters are advancing the story. Like Trey was saying, they're a part of the story. They're brought into the story
Frog
for a
Lady wasn't
reason,
a cameo.
and they leave the story for a reason.
They literally, you would not have Din and Grogu's journeys as the same. Like if it's not for Bo-Katan showing up, his entire crisis of faith and identity does not happen. If it wasn't for Ahsoka showing up, his entire crisis with do I let this child make his own choices does not happen. Like it's all essential. You want a cameo in Mandalorian season 2? R5D4 is a cameo.
Yep, there
Like,
it is.
That's a cameo.
Whenever I hear the word cameo, I think of Stan Lee in Marvel movies.
It doesn't
It's
make
like
sense.
that's what
That's
a
what they
cameo
are.
is.
It's
It's
a fun
there
little
as
nod. It's
flavor.
not like, okay, this character is going to show.
And
Din
we
going
let
into
people
Mandalorian.
abuse the word and beat the ideas out of the show, and they can just go on Twitter and say with impunity that it's a cameo. I want the show to be the best it can be, but you didn't
Clone Wars
consider the show.
flashbacks. That's a cameo.
And let's be real, like when people are talking about cameos in Mandalorian, they're talking about Luke. But
It advances the story.
The thing with Luke in the Mandalorian at the end of season 2, it means a lot to people. It's not a cameo. It drives the story forward, like everybody has been saying.
It's not a cameo at all.
It's not a cameo. Like that is essential.
It's like here's a test. If you removed
that story,
if you removed it, would the story be the same? No, they would all be dead. The answer is dead.
Exactly. So, go ahead.
While we're talking about things, I just want to say I've been rewatching Star Wars Visions the past few days, and that has turned into like I loved it when it came out, but I hadn't really thought about it since then. It is freaking phenomenal.
Yep.
I love like capital L love Visions, and I am so excited for season 2. I just wanted to put that out there while we were talking.
It's funny
about
you mentioned that,
Kenobi shows,
because like with Tales of the Jedi, I feel like
Kelly.
There we go,
Kelly.
Love her so much.
I think with like Tales of the Jedi, I feel like that's the sort of storytelling that I'm intrigued by the most. That and Visions, because they're not really constrained by canon necessarily. I mean, Tales of the Jedi, you could argue, obviously, it fits more of that mold, and Visions is more, non-canon. But I like the idea of an anthology series, and I know like the binge method is not. It doesn't work for everything. I personally feel like it does work for Stranger Things, because it is a kind of anthology series in the sense that you go in, you want to watch every single episode. Some other stories, I don't think that works quite well, but with like these anthology stories where you can just drop in, you don't necessarily have to watch. Like you can drop in whatever order you want for Visions. You don't necessarily have to watch it in all in order. That's the kind of storytelling I think Star Wars can and should do more of. Like I'd love the idea of just seeing Count Dooku for one episode. That is just thrilling. Like I'd love to have more
Daddy
of that.
Dukes.
Yeah, I think but not to counter you, Charlie, because I agree with you. I just think that we're talking about different things. You're talking about stories, which you're right, but I think that the consumption of stories, it gets tricky. The discussion of stories, it gets tricky.
It's true. Although Stranger Things, I feel like is a little bit different in terms of like it's still being talked about, still obviously it's reflecting its cultural.
Well, that's why I think they were wise to break into volumes, not to make it a Stranger Things show. But
one thing. What I was going to say is one big reason it's still being talked about is because they're ramping up marketing for volume 2. They have 2 more episodes they're about to drop, and that's going to put another.
And one of them is going to be a feature, essentially.
And when you say episodes, like they're like an hour and a half and 2.5 hours. So that's like that's like 4 episodes.
And the other thing about Kenobi, to tie it in with Stranger Things, is that the Stranger Things, even though the episodic directors are different, it all comes down to the Duffers. And Kenobi, unlike Mando and Book of Boba Fett and Bad Batch, all comes down to Deborah. So it has that different feeling of like if we had dropped it all at once or not.
Like she's so fucking good. Like that's
this is why he won't read the High Republic.
The slander.
Well, we're I think
we haven't even talked about Kenobi.
We've kind of talked about Kenobi a little bit, but what I'm interested in, I always love hearing from Jess because I always appreciate her how she
Me?
yes to you.
She said
yes to you because you enjoy this stuff, but you're not like to me, you're
You're
like,
not nuts like
you're
us.
Kind of
exactly
crucial part of my identity,
Exactly.
but I enjoy it.
What has Kenobi been hitting you? Has it what? And if it has, what aspects of Kenobi are hitting you the most? Like what has been your kind of?
I mean,
what has been what have you liked about Kenobi the most so far? If you've even liked it, like if you don't like it, like that's totally fine. Like say fuck that shit, like it's fuck that show.
I think you want her to not like it, Bill.
I kind of I want to like have something different because like I love it. Like it's one of my favorite.
This episode has been sponsored by Darth Vader.
That's right. Absolutely. What do you think?
I've liked it a lot, and I think it's felt a lot more cinematic than the other. Sorry, my teeth are like purple from the wine I've been drinking, but so I'm like self-conscious. But the story has been very good. It's felt like a movie more to me than because like I watched Mandalorian, I watched Book of Boba Fett and all of that, and we've been binging Rebels to an extent.
Yeah, just finished season 3 of Rebels.
So I've been consuming a lot of Star Wars recently, but I've liked it a lot, and I don't know. Leia probably has been my favorite part. I love children. I'm working in education, so I am drawn to kids. I love them so much, and so she's been adorable and spunky, and I love that character. So that's probably been my favorite part.
And I think that
little Leia.
I think that's probably a really good transition point into talking about Leia, because like I think that for me, like when at the premiere, like seeing Leia for the first time was like, it really affected me in a way that I like was totally not expecting. Because like I think a lot of us were expecting like to see a young Luke, and like seeing how he affects.
He was in the trailer, so we
exactly. So, but like seeing a young Leia and seeing like her living in Alderaan, and what's the actress's name? Vivian Lyra Blair.
Yeah.
She has just completely and totally, I think, has taken the best parts of Carrie, has taken the best parts of that character and has run with them. Like that's Leia. She's taken that's just a young Leia, and I'm just so impressed by her. I
also respect like an actor or an actress coming in as a child and doing Star Wars, because child actors in Star Wars have not been treated particularly well.
Not even a little bit
by people. So like it takes a special kind of person to come in and be like, okay, I'm gonna play one of the top 5 most important characters in this whole saga, and I'm gonna do that. And I love little Leia. Her her interactions with Ben to me have been what has made this show amazing. Like this show is marketed a lot as, okay, the rematch of the century, Obi-Wan versus Vader. Screw that, man. Like, okay, I like that. I liked episode 3, but Leia and Ben has been what has kept me really, really interested in this show, and that's been an amazing surprise.
And I'm curious to see where everybody else is with this, but I think that like what a good prequel does, it enriches the original. It takes
Alden had a great tweet yesterday.
Takes moments from exactly old Ben Kenobi, he's here, like seeing like hearing that in A New Hope has new meaning now
like
that you know
Kenobi
that,
like I've said it, Kenobi is literally episode 3.5.
Yeah. And like
not enough Clone Wars flashbacks.
And also just like let's take a moment to just laugh and chuckle a little bit at the whole, when 9 was coming out, there was such a large sect of the fandom that was like, I'm so ready to be done with the Skywalkers. I want to be done with it. I want to be done with it. They should move on from it. And then now those same people are applauding. This is part of the Skywalker saga. The Skywalker saga is never going to end. It's never going to end, and it shouldn't.
And thank God, yeah.
It's like it should not end. Like you don't go to. I think it was Adam Witt. I want to say that said this. Maybe he said it to Ken, and Ken told me. I don't know. But like you're not gonna do a Godfather thing and then be like, I want to hear about the Waiters family. I'm done with the Corleones. It's like no, it's about the Corleones.
I'm a big fan of Ray Skywalker, and I'm going to say this now so I can't get quote tweeted on my own podcast.
Ray Skywalker, yeah, because Ray Skywalker, and also Nikki. When I reviewed the first, I said reviewed. When I discussed, I refused.
So did misogynist Trey Mitchell.
Trey Mitchell.
Where are the laser eyes?
I pass it on to you. I had to deal with it too. I had to deal with it too
all in the night.
But the idea that this 10-year-old girl who is struggling with the am I the real Organa would become the Jedi Master of the girl that gets brought into a family as well.
Yeah.
The master who was adopted and the apprentice who was adopted into this narrative, because Leia is so many things. Leia Organa Skywalker Solo, like it just she is sort of the paragon of being able to take on all the parts that you need from all these places. And this kid's great. This kid has more talent than anyone and everyone trashing her combined. She is so good. She should get an Emmy supporting nomination.
She is Leia. Incredible. Like that's Leia. It's not like
that's straight up Leia.
And
yeah,
I think
Leia.
as well for me. What I love about this era and what I love about this storytelling, like
I'm gonna kill you, Jerry.
No misogynist and murderer, Trey Mitchell.
Speaking of misogynist.
It's like that meme.
Okay. Sorry, Charlie. Go
now
Charlie.
I think for me, like, what's interesting about this whole time period, my favorite stories happen in this time period, is that the two major themes that we get to see at the end of Revenge of the Sith are tragedy and hope. And I feel like the best stories that are told during this time period reflect those two themes. And Kenobi has done a really good job at, delivering both. Like for episode 4, for example, is a really great example of, you can see the horror of what's happened to the galaxy. You can see the horror, like the fact that they have like bodies just buried underground on display is the most disgusting, like most horrifying thought. But then you have a shot where like Leia's holding Obi-Wan's hand, and there's that beautiful like sort of moment of like, well, things are going to be okay. That's the kind of stuff I love to see in Star Wars, and that sort of it like you said, Bill, like it changes the way we view these stories. Like it's a sort of hope that I never really saw before in terms of the characterization between Leia, Luke, and Obi-Wan. Because you always think, oh yeah, like Leia reached out to him, but it's mainly Luke and Obi-Wan who were connected, and blah blah blah.
And like I think Alden, I want to say. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say.
No, go ahead, Charlie.
If you look at the visual connection between these stories, like look at Luke's lightsaber in Episode 6. It's absolutely a replication or trying to recreate Ben's lightsaber. Yeah. And then look at Leia's lightsaber, which has elements of, I would say, bits of like Padme's, like like the shiny chromish look of it, but it's absolutely Ben's as well. And then Ben Solo takes from Leia's saber, which is like just this beautiful little tapestry of like family connections. And again, like we're saying,
that's copyright.
Family
isn't.
I'm so sorry.
Alden.
Go on. I also love how much of the show is like a Padme, like I don't know what the word would be, but just like a celebration.
I'm calling it. She's going to be in the series.
She is doing some Disney stuff right now with Thor. So
Charlie, I kind of agree. Like,
I'm convinced what will happen is that we're going to see a moment, maybe at the end. I think I tweeted this today. Like, I feel like there's going to be like a goodbye sequence between Ben and Leia, and as a gift, he's going to just put his hands on their head and share some visions of maybe Padme. Maybe it could be just reused footage. I'd be fine with that. Could be new footage. They got Natalie Portman in one day to quickly film, and that
makes sense. That makes
memories
sense
of Leia.
I got chills. Like Padme is one of the most important characters in this whole space shit we're talking about right now. Like she is so important, and I love that this show is like Ben being like, you remind me of someone, and some people think it's Satine, and that's valid, but it's so obviously Padme.
Yeah,
There
it's
are-
Could you
definitely
imagine-
Padme, especially because
could
I
you
thought it was
imagine-
Sabine at first.
if those memories are the thing that sort of helps just jolt Leia a little bit more into taking the senatorial stuff a bit more seriously, and obviously the journey she's been on as well, obviously, and she's
That'd be
like,
great.
I can do this.
I mean,
like,
in
really great.
episode 1, Bale is talking, or I think her mother's talking to her, Breha, and Leia's like, all I do is wave. And her mother's like, then do more. And I mean,
exactly.
Padme is the one who does more. And it'd be
Well,
a great, like what Charlie's saying, a great little like, okay, I'm going to spark
That's
this
a really good point, Charlie.
idea
Yeah.
of rebellion inside of me.
this whole discussion talking about Padme, like, you know, one of my favorite moments from a Star Wars book was in Leia, Princess of Alderaan, when now, what is it, Governor
Moff Panaka.
Moff Panaka sees Leia at like a young Leia, like I guess like 5 years after this,
Yeah, she's 16.
16, and like, you know what, like, oh shit, you remind me of somebody, but like, and that gives me chills,
Leia
and it's like
Leia in
Panaka,
Star Wars
like
Rebels is
like you bring
she
that
reminds me of
and you
Padme
bring
there.
it into Kenobi.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah,
on,
Leia's
man.
episode of Rebels and Princess of Alderaan take place in the same year.
Mhm.
Oh, they
So-
do. Oh,
I
bet.
love this shit. I love Star Wars. I love how
it's so
all these
good. Like,
interconnected stories.
So like, if you're already bringing back Hayden, if you're already bringing back Ewan, if Natalie Portman is willing to do like we've said, like come in for a day.
I mean, money
do
talks,
something.
and
How-
things are better. Things are better for her overall. Like, I think that there was a time when she absolutely would have said, "Hell no, f off." But post SNL, like post the say something about the motherfucking prequels, like,
Bitch, yeah, exactly.
like that shows like there's a playfulness now and appreciation. She has kids, you know, which is different for so many people, and that
Give me-
changes so much. And
Give me beefed up Padme.
yeah.
I mean, how heartbreaking would it be if we saw almost like a what if version of Star Wars where we get Hayden, we get Natalie, and we get Luke and Leia like as a
So-
family, and we see that like
Stop.
everybody-
Why would you do? Why would you
and
say
the
that?
Try.
in the Charles Soule run, they do a great Padme vision where Vader's going through all his dark side stuff, and he sees Padme on this balcony, and she turns around, and it's super horror movie style, and she looks at him kind of like with a weird like craziness behind her eyes, and she says, "Are you an angel?"
Yeah.
At Vader,
Holden,
which is
it'd
so
be very
good.
cool.
Charles
if they had,
Soule, man,
like a
what a guy.
What a
Charles
guy.
it'd be very
Soule
cool
is
if they
what
had
a
like
guy.
a two
Writer
episode.
and a Star Wars book
But no,
writer.
What do you
Trey,
say?
it's funny you mentioned the whole like
I'll
what
tell you
if, because like that was sort of my prediction of sorts for like how the show I thought was going to open. Like basically like the prologue of the Last Jedi novelization, where it's like we see this sort of ideal version of the prequels if Vader didn't turn, if Anakin didn't turn into Vader, and then it would just cut
It's
to
sad.
Obi-Wan
Yeah.
just in
yeah.
the cave.
So,
So.
you know, we've talked a little bit about Kenobi.
Also, I just gotta say,
Go
this
ahead.
show furthers the point that no freaking wonder Yoda wanted to train Leia.
Yeah,
And I've said it before.
Here's
100%.
another.
If Yoda trained Leia like he wanted to, there would be no original trilogy. There would be no sequel trilogy.
What do you-
It would just be
wait,
gone. It
what
would
do
just
you
be
mean
over.
Yoda wanted to train like where's that?
Yeah,
From
we're-
a
And
certain
from a certain point of
Different
view,
view, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
okay. I need that book.
So I kind of
I'm
want to
gonna
go
Google it.
around.
Just her passions leading people.
I want to go around the panel.
Can we talk about episode 4 first?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you want to talk about episode 4 with?
I just think it's fucking amazing. Like I love that episode,
best one.
especially,
Yeah, the Death
especially
Star,
upon the
great.
second watch.
Mhm.
Like I know Connor, I'm really interested to hear your point of view because you're a giant Fallen Order person, as no one knows. actually. That's a big secret about you.
Yep.
Which
You're
one
a
is
giant
Fallen Order? Is
fan.
Fallen Order the one about like the Ewoks?
it's
Or
the
what
one,
is
It's
it?
the one about
yeah.
it's
Someone
the one about
tell me-
Keeve Trennis.
if there's
Who is
anyone
it?
important in the water, the frozen thing, the amber, whatever it was.
no,
There's
there's
Tara-
one
Tara
fun.
Sinube.
Yeah, Tara Sinube is a Clone Wars
The
character.
old guy who helps Ahsoka when her
Glove shit
lightsaber
out.
gets
R.I.P.
lost.
His name is
That's it. That's the only
his
person.
name
One
is
out.
Glove Shit Out.
But everyone else
No,
there is
no,
the
no,
original.
no.
I know. I'm sorry.
Don't-
I had
don't
to.
validate
I had-
Preston. No.
I
Wasn't
had to.
called
I'm sorry.
Bungie and Club Shadow, and we fought about it.
What?
We don't have to get into this. If you
Wait, what
No,
did
we
you say?
do. We do.
and
We
I'm
do.
happy to
Did you
talk
He
about
really
it.
called
press it?
who a glub shadow?
Did you really
Gunji.
call Gunji?
The
a
only
gl-
character with an original lightsaber.
What a
I
stereotype.
think here's what I'm going to say.
Let me
No,
tell you
I-
something about what I'm gonna say, okay?
I will. I'll tell you right now.
Here's the problem with
The
what.
thing,
Go ahead.
the
sorry.
thing about
See
it
the thing?
is, I love the Clone Wars
Uh-huh.
and I love Gunji, but I didn't remember his name. And there are a lot of fans like
That's
me
a you
who are
problem.
the same
No,
way.
there aren't.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't
I'm just
remember
telling
his
you.
name.
Wait, here,
I'm not
sorry.
hating. I was
Can I
never,
say something?
was
Can I say
never-
something
I
real
was never
quick?
hating on Gunji. I wasn't hating
You
on
called
him.
him
I
a
like him
Glub
as a character.
Shadow. You're a Glub
That's
Shadow.
not hating on him. That's just saying. I
People
don't
are
remember his
saying
name,
that
Trey.
Gunji is not even a Jedi. He's not a real Jedi, okay? That's the problem, okay?
Because
Well,
Bill loves
I thought
impressions.
what Preston said
No,
was
but,
very Palpatine. It
But
was very
Trey,
much. I love
to
the
get back
Republic.
to your
I love
point, I was
democracy.
hell yeah, man. Like
Gunji.
I saw some people bitching on like the Fallen Order subreddit about like how this about how episode 4 like stole basically sort of the plot of the Fortress Inquisitorius break-in, and I'm like,
I mean,
fuck off.
It does, but
Like,
it's
this
Oh
is
yeah,
great.
because that's right. Because Fallen Order invented sneaking into places in Star Wars.
Yeah,
That's
it
right.
did.
Yeah.
It
I was
definitely
like,
did.
It's
I
not
didn't
like it's
say
an
it.
integral element since 1977 of
Yeah.
every single
And
one.
so,
I
like,
mean,
the thing that killed me the most was like, okay, first of all, they say "ner" like out loud, and I'm like, oh shit. And then they say Fortress Inquisitorius out loud, and I'm like, fuck me, this is great. And then
Is it funny that like when they said Fortress Inquisitorius, the first thing I said was "No," like because like it feels like not real. Like that's like
Right.
okay, you've named your super secret fortress, Fortress Inquisitorius. Okay, cool.
and then like
Cool.
when
It's
like
bit
there's like
wordy.
4 lines about how they're like, no one can break into this place, no one would be stupid enough to, and I'm just sitting there
Cal
like,
Kestis took that
Two
personally.
people have been
Like,
stupid enough to do
like,
it.
Cal Kestis and Seer Junda did it. Like, I don't know about that one.
I
I
don't
don't know about that one,
know.
Roken. Also, can we shout out Christina Ariel? The
Every
timestamp
time.
is 6:17. She just
I love that you know
This
that.
man dropped the
That's
time.
That's
in
amazing.
What?
Star Wars. Christina Ariel, everyone, is in Star Wars.
She's been in Star Wars, and like, listen, if
She just keeps killing it, man. She
Christina-
just keeps killing it.
Also, Christina, if you ever want to come on the pod, just come on. You're welcome anytime. That's
You won't come on if your face is that close to the microphone. That is extremely scary.
Is she?
If
We doing this, Bill?
you come on to the Inquisitory, Roken. Anyway,
But,
come on the Inquisitorius.
But yeah, no, it was just Trey. All the references to it were cool. I think the one thing I also really liked was Obi-Wan using the Force, and this really showcased like how he was really getting back into his Obi-Wan groove. Was when like he deflected the blaster bolt to the glass. I was like, oh fuck! I was like, fuck, not this again. In a good way. And then he uses the Force to like hold it in place,
Yeah.
and then just does that thing where it's like he like sort of like, I can't think of the best word, like transfers some of the glass, like some of the more of the glass to crack to then flood it. And I'm like, A, great Fallen Order reference, and B, fantastic way to showcase that Obi-Wan's just really getting back into it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's
So,
like I
just
tweeted that after the episode came out. There's a great, and again, if you're busy like complaining about things, that this type of stuff that you don't catch in Star Wars because it requires you to be watching it and not just looking at it. But there's a subtle 3-part arc throughout the episode that, without any dialogue, it's just Ewan's performance, the special effects artists, and the action blocking, all
It's
brought
A
together
New
by
Hope.
Deborah. That shows you why the whole thing is A New Hope, but specifically
Yeah,
with the Force.
That episode.
He's on the shuttle and he's trying to move that little tool or that little part. He can barely drag it. Then he's in a desperate mode and he's able to do a louder Force push and thump to get the troopers to go
That's
away.
which is
And then he
definite-
gets
which
to
is
the
a
third-
direct, yeah. The
the
second one is a
third
direct
piece.
reference to him doing
And
it
then
in A
you
New
can-
Hope,
Right.
which was great.
And then the third thing is finally being able to, I need to save lives. And that's what is able to get him through to.
It's amazing.
That is a
how do people-
fantastic
how
point,
people not
Alden.
like this show? this show is called Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's not called Glub Shitto. It's like we're out here watching
I'd still
this
watch that.
amazing character, Ben Kenobi, transform into, a man who is just broken into someone who realizes that he needs that he has a purpose. That
You get to
Luke and
see
Leia are the purpose.
Ben
That
Kenobi
Leia is
become
as equal as Luke. That's amazing to me too.
He starts to become Master Obi-Wan again.
Yep.
And Leia starts to become Princess Leia. The moment where she goes from finding out, so she thinks that he's dead, and the moment where she says, I don't know anything about a path, and sits up straight, is when Princess Leia proper is born. Like, that's when the new Leia
is
born.
this a
just
staring
short
contest? Killed me.
Just short of a snooty British accent.
First. I talk first. Same
It's
energy.
100% Poe. 100% Poe.
Snooty British.
So I kind of want to wrap it up a little bit because we've been talking for a little bit, but like I fucking love this show. Like it has been
that and dude, I don't know about like
very Last Jedi of them.
Very Last Jedi.
I said this in
Very
a tweet the other day. Like my favorite type of Star Wars is where one of my heroes is at their lowest.
It's so
they are able to rise above it and like become like they're able to find the light. Like that's exactly what Kenobi is doing here. So like
I don't know why that's so hard for people to understand. It's literally in the fucking music. When John Williams brought that theme out, it's literally there.
That's it. There. That's all it is. And like so like
and you see him in the robes. He comes out of the Bacta tank. He's literally been through the fire again. Literally,
the robes that he has in this episode.
It's just so fucking beautiful. It's just it's everything that I want in a Star Wars show. Like I had high expectations for the Kenobi series to begin with. Go ahead, Charlie.
This episode actually like really like I don't know what about it. Do you know what? I think the first 3 episodes were very prequel-y and in a good way. Like when I watched them, I thought, oh, this is kind of like the prequels part 2. Like we get to see a bit more of Luke. We get to see Owen and the young Leia. This is the sort of thing I would have loved to have. Like if I told 9-year-old Charlie, guess what? They're going to continue the story. You're going to get to actually see Ewan with like little Leia. It would have blown my mind.
Dude, if I told 6-year-old me, no, go ahead, Charlie. Go ahead.
It's been this whole episode.
Oh yeah. I agree with that comment. Yes, totally.
But I feel like what's cool is that once episode 3 ends, Obi-Wan is dragged through the fire. Literally, he's sort of been rebirthed in a way. Like after meeting Vader, things have changed. His whole mission plan post Revenge of the Sith was, I have to protect these kids from the Emperor. Now he knows that Anakin's alive. He knows that Anakin is a big threat because of he's seen what he can do. He's been through the fire. He's slowly learning to regain his abilities. He's like becoming one of the Force again. And there's a trust there. It's not just like a turn the light on and it's completely fine again. He has to ramp up for that. And I think for me, this is the episode where now it goes, oh, ironically, episode 4 feels more like episode 4. And now we get the Ewan playing the Ben Kenobi a bit more, where you get to see, like we said, him sneaking around an Imperial base and doing the little tricks. It just really, I loved it so much. And also, shout out, I think it must be David Collins and Sam Witwer with the T-15 reference straight after that, which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah. Can I make one point?
Yes. You can make as many points as you want.
Are Charlie and Preston wearing the same shirt right now?
I noticed.
Wait,
hold on.
Yeah.
Let me see. Is it the 20th?
very much doubt it because mine is nothing to do with Star Wars.
Wait. Swap the layout and put them next to each other. Can you?
I don't want to do that.
All right. Computer enhance.
I thought they were both Attack of the Clone shirts.
Sorry, no. I'm wearing a British band T-shirt. I'm afraid.
Which one? Is it the Beatles? I've heard of them.
It does look like the same shirt, though. Am I wrong?
That's pretty cool.
It does.
That's pretty cool.
Let me do the. Wait. There you go.
Amazing.
Well, you guys also both have goatees. Similarities are never ending.
Are Charlie and Preston the same person? ?
Probably.
Possible.
It's possible.
This
I've
is
never
our
seen them
multiverse
in the same room.
a dichotomy.
People are
There's
saying.
there's British.
Okay, let's
and
talk
American.
about it. Okay, we're gonna talk about Preston. He's doing very good. He's doing very
do
good.
good stuff. I would try to do a Boris Johnson, but I don't think that I can.
Well, yes. Pivot. COVID. And then he's
Quite right, scallywags.
yeah, he calls ping pong whiff waff.
But to
That's a real thing.
Alden's
Bit of
point
whiff-waff.
about sort of that non-dialogue visual storytelling, just through the show, we see costume changes for Obi-Wan, and that sort of just really signifies like where his mental state is at. Because like the first episode, we see him with just the really cool ass blue outfit with the poncho slung over the shoulder. And then at the end of it, he's like sort of getting back into his Jedi robes, but they're not quite like traditional yet. Yeah. And then like episode
it looks like Rey's in The Last Jedi, in all honesty.
That's a good point.
The one that they give him on Jabim is the gray one. That makes me wonder if at the end, like the end of 6, if he's going to wear the Alec one, the long one.
He will.
I would not be
He
shocked.
has to.
He
has to.
This is
He has
what
to
I
make
think.
the Tusken Raider call.
He's going to wear that. He's going to sit down in his brand new house that he's bought off the Mos Eisley real estate.
I want
He
Baru to
sounds like
take them
Zillow.
shopping for a hut.
He's going to
Do
sit
you guys
down.
think we're going to
and
get a
he's
season
gonna-
2 of this show?
I feel like we are, but I feel like the end of the season will be him sitting down, him like meditating, and him saying, "Master," and then you'll hear, "Now you're ready," and it'll be Qui-Gon Jinn.
I think we're definitely gonna. I think it's
Qui-Gon
gonna
gets
happen
seen.
before that. Like
I think
in
Qui-Gon's
episode
coming-
6, definitely. But
Qui-Gon
like,
is next episode, I think.
I
I
think
feel like
Qui-Gon's
he
gonna
should-
show
he has
up
to earn
in the
it.
last one.
No, it's the
That's
next.
my-
Either facing Vader is going to be what lets him break through to Qui-Gon, or Qui-Gon will give the pre-fight talk of "you did your best, defend people." Like he'll give him whatever he needs to face Vader.
That
Both
would be
of those
really
would
cool if like
thematically resonant.
that
I just
fight
don't.
was the reason why he could break through. That would actually be really cool.
Yeah.
I don't think Qui-Gon will do that because it just doesn't fit in with the sort of the nature of the knowledge we know about Force ghosts. Really, like Obi-Wan doesn't
Which
get
is
disagree.
very little.
They
But
Disagree.
like,
and,
They do pre-fight pep talks. They did it
Yeah,
in Jedi. They did it in Rise.
Yeah, but I'm not.
They
gonna
did
get
an
involved,
Empire.
really.
Like they like. That's like they
Oh,
came.
good luck. Don't die.
I mean,
Oh,
like
okay,
they
okay,
came.
but Rise
Don't go
was
save your friend.
absolutely a pre-fight pep talk.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
But Qui-Gon in the Clone Wars is pretty much saying to Yoda, "I know everything that's going to happen. We can see the future. We can't tell you what's going to happen. Good luck."
Mm.
That's the sort of thing I feel like you have to have. Like he was there to help teach Obi-Wan, these lessons of how to become one of the Force. But I don't think he can necessarily be like, "Oh, Anakin, yes, he's a little shit now. Good luck, fight. Here's a lightsaber." I just feel like maybe he can appear like a little wave,
Like
Good luck.
it's just that I feel like they've just been setting it up from the beginning, like
they
from
set
the
it up.
very beginning. Like
And, like,
it would feel
Kristen
like
Baver's Skywalker Family War book specifically states that Obi-Wan communes with Qui-Gon 10 years after
says
Revenge of the Sith.
Even the
And-
Ahsoka book has that
From
too.
a certain point of view, and I think it's A New Hope, I want to say,
Mhm.
also pretty much does that.
Well,
Claudia Gray wrote that one. It's amazing.
And
Yep.
and here's where I kind of want to transition to
I feel like it's going to happen.
the conversation because I think we should probably wrap up. We've been going for a little bit. I kind of want to start with Preston and then move around the group. Give a kind of a score of where Kenobi fits right now for you. Like give it out of 10, and then where you expect to see where episode 5 is going to go, and what you feel like how the series is going to end. So let's start with Preston. Give us a score and give us where you think the series goes from here.
I think
And then we'll go Preston, Alden, Charlie, Jess, Trey, and Connor.
all right. Well, I probably give it an 8.5 out of 10. I'm liking it a lot. I think that obviously, depending on how these last 2 episodes go, I honestly I expect to like it even more. I think as far as episode 5, where it's going to go, I'm not certain because I haven't been able to predict any of the next episodes as like so far in this show. I haven't been able to predict where they're going to go, what they're going to do. But I think if there is going to be a heavy flashback episode, if there is going to be Clone Wars flashbacks, if there is going to be, something that really makes us feel the gravity of the Anakin and Obi-Wan relationship, those flashbacks, if they're going to come in and do that, this will be the episode because it's the penultimate episode building up to the final battle. I think that if they do it, this would be the time to do it. I don't know if they're going to or not. I don't know. Can't say whether I expect them to or not. I really don't have any expectations for the show other than I'm going to enjoy it. And that's where I'm at. And that's kind of why I have liked it so far. But yeah, I think that's my take. 8.5 right now. And if they're going to do a flashback heavy episode, it will be next week.
My fellow misogynist, what do you think, Alden?
Nah, I bequeath that entirely onto you. My era of being branded is over. It's your problem now.
All right,
Yeah, that's
This is
I
your
will say
fight.
this. I don't like doing number scores anymore, so I'm just gonna give it a 10. I'm gonna start giving
you on that.
I'm gonna start giving everything a 10. Like I abandoned it on Letterboxd. Now I just give things hearts. I think that this show, well, because you have the best Letterboxd. You have a great, well curated Letterboxd. I in terms of like what I think of it, I think it's brilliant. I think it's one of my favorite Star Wars things that has been made. It's so character focused. It's so based in character. We've talked about so many things that I don't want to like cause a bunch, an hour's worth more of topics, but just to quickly rattle off like characters like Tala, characters like Roken, characters like Haja Estri, played by Kumail. Like all these characters have added so much, whether they're a one-off appearance or whether like Tala, she's been through, like she has her own sort of mini arc, her mini trial that was so effective.
Would love to see her in Andor.
Yep.
Yeah,
Same.
so she would fit in perfectly in Andor and Bad Batch and any of these places like Tala and like Enfys Nest, like those types of characters that were not the Rebellion capital R because it hadn't been solidified yet until Rebels and until Scarif. Are so important. So just to throw that out there, but I think it's great. As for what I think is going to happen, I think just from a writing perspective, like episode 5 is the time. Episode 5 is the time to do Reva's backstory. I think we go back to Order 66 next episode, whether it's a cold open or whether she does a villain monologue and talks about it. I think I also think it's going to buck expectations, and similarly to how Game of Thrones used to do big battles before the finale, I think Vader Obi is next episode, and I think episode 6 is settling back in on Tatooine. Mm-hmm. I think episode 6 it's quiet. Bonnie Peace still hasn't had a scene as Beru, so that's and she's in the cast, brought out on stage.
Yep.
So I think Vader Obi is next episode. He'll make a daring escape or fake his death or something, and the path will get him back to Tatooine. So yeah,
nice.
Awesome. Connor or Charlie, go ahead. Sorry.
So I will give this one a rating of numerical value because that means a lot. Obviously, everyone cares what I think. What I usually do, I don't add up to make it a score. Like I take away stuff I don't like. And for me, it's been very hard to think of something I don't like about this show. The only sort of gripe I've had, and it's not even really a gripe, and even considering it one, it's ridiculous. But the lightsaber effects, usually the ones they use now, where it's the actual like lightsaber product they have, and they it reflects in the face, is amazing. But that one scene in the dark, I felt like it could have used a bit more like CG on that because it just looked a little bit too fan filmy to me, which I know is pulling straws. It's the weakest like complaint, but that's a positive in my book. I'm saying it 9.5. I think Kenobi's been excellent. I think it's a great character. delve. I was very worried about this show because that whole, the whole Vader and Obi-Wan meet up to me was like, no, I don't think they can do that. I feel like it has to be like Mustafar and then A New Hope. This proved me wrong. The development of the characters, having Vader have his own little arc, and I'm sure we'll see more of that. Having Moses Ingram, who's been incredible as Reva, really intriguing character. I was really worried because, of course, like you're saying about like Fallen Order and retreading characters, we'd already seen this sort of sympathetic Inquisitor character. I think we are going to see something interesting next week. I don't know if it's just me, but my interpretation of the story so far is that Reva is maybe doing this to get closer to Vader so that she can kill him. And I think maybe that's what we'll see, like this sort of like Obi-Wan having to team up with Reva. Maybe Vader kills her, and that's what maybe solidifies in Ben's mind that, oh, okay, Anakin is truly gone. This is someone without compassion. This is someone that I have to stop, and we will have to stop one day. So I'm really intrigued to see what they do. Just judging by the concept art, it looks like the rematch might be on Mustafar again, which I think is pretty cool.
That'd be so cool. That'd be so sick.
The idea of them fighting in the castle is pretty great. Like maybe you see like what's his name, Vene doing the washing up in the background, like putting some clothes up on the washing line and ducking, like they're doing. I'd love that. So 9.5.
9.5.
Restocking Vader's like
I am
Mountain
curious,
Dew.
like what you guys think Reva's like intentions are, or her ultimate goal.
Sorry, what you're asking about? Whose intentions?
Her name's Reva.
Oh,
right?
Reva. Sorry, I just didn't hear you. Reva.
I think she is a Padawan who felt left behind. I'm sure she
if not that little girl in the opening scene, because there is a young black girl.
Yeah, so
the one that says "Let's go."
Yeah, she saw Obi-Wan at the temple. She probably feels like she was abandoned by the Jedi Order, so she's got resentment against Obi-Wan.
Specifically Kenobi.
But maybe, but because he raised Anakin. He trained Anakin.
That's what Jared has said, and I think that's what another friend of mine, Jake, has said.
I think it's twofold, because to tie in with what you said, Charlie, about her secretly wanting to kill Vader, I think that in a very comic book villain way, sort of like in a Lex Luthor BVS, but like well written, of like, I want these two titans to fight. I think she wants to. Are you booing me or the movie?
I'm booing you.
This
is a discussion for another time.
Another 2 hours. I think that she wants them to destroy each other. She has equal beef with both. I was there that night. I've heard you called Lord Vader, but I've seen Anakin Skywalker. I know the Chosen One. Everyone did. He was on the news all the time. Like Skywalker and Kenobi were, Republic heroes on posters. Like
you saw him killing her friends as well.
Right. But I'm just saying to connect it to Vader. For her to be able to say Anakin Skywalker lives, because that's a question. Because no one in the Empire outside of Palpatine knows for sure. Only Thrawn and Tarkin.
Tarkin only kind of knows.
Tarkin kind of knows. Thrawn knows. Yeah, I know. And says Lord Vader
and calls him Vader. Yeah, so she might have overheard that.
That's what I'm saying. That's
what I mean. Sorry, I got confused.
Yeah. Sorry. So I think she has that beef with him, the obvious one, and then I think the Kenobi beef is maybe when the bodies are cold and she comes out of her hiding place. She sees the hologram that says it's a trap, don't come back, to all the Jedi. And to adults, that was a wonderful and helpful thing. To people like Kanan, or he was an adult, but it helped them survive. Because Obi-Wan changed. Obi-Wan has that hologram that Seer has of the, do not return to the Jedi Temple. Go out.
That time is over.
Yeah, may the Force be with you. But to a child, that's a grown-up saying, don't come help. And so she might have equal beef. Like, you did the crime and you could have helped us and you told the grown-ups not to come.
And you raised the monster that killed my friends.
That too.
Do you know what would be really rad if we do get a flashback to... Here's the thing. The Clone Wars flashbacks, when the series was first announced, I was kind of like, oh, that'd be really cool to see maybe like some flashbacks to the Clone Wars. Now we've gone into it. I don't want to see any Clone Wars flashbacks. I think it'd be unnecessary.
I just want to know, like, if anyone here on the panel really wants to see it, why? And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just want to
But
know,
what I
like,
do-
people just to see
I mean,
the
seeing
armor.
a Hayden, I want to see more Hayden. Like, or I want to
Yeah.
see some Hayden.
I agree with that.
I think
I just
maybe
want more
flashback would be
pain
away, but
for
I like
Kenobi.
seeing him in
love
episode
the
3.
Hayden. Yeah, that the
Mhm.
what Nikki calls the devil in the desert shot.
Yeah.
But it's just like that horrific. I'd love to see more of that for sure.
Do you know what I think would be great is if we do get all the 66 flashbacks. We know that 10 was on set, right?
Mhm.
Kenobi, yeah.
Could you imagine if they reintroduced the deleted scene element of the clones wearing the Jedi hoods? It's just 10.
That's one of
You
the best.
clones make terrible Jedi.
That's one of the best deleted scenes of all time. It's so funny. I think it's, I think that her motivation stands to be very interesting, and it's not as simple as you want this job. That's such a basic and boring thing. And also, we forget that Grand Inquisitor return is on the table for the next 2, because
It's coming.
the fact that even needed to be a conversation, like the
People
fact
are
that
so stupid.
the fact that Alex Damon took time out of his day to explain to people on Star Wars Explained that he's not dead. Like, they're not going to do a canon breaking thing on that level. Like, Filoni has a special thanks credit on the pilot for this show. Like, and we just see Fennec Shand come back from a gut injury and have her entire gut replaced. Like,
I
and
don't
be
know.
fine.
What's that character? What's that character that went through all that trauma again? The body trauma. Anakin
Teresa
something.
Darth Maul.
Stop. That's so mean.
Darth Maul.
He's
I
not
think
dead.
I think it's our turn to rate the show. I don't really feel like the need to give it like a rating. I just would say that I really, really liked it so far. Really excited to see what's been going on, or how it's going to finish. I think this question is asked what Kanan thought. Kanan has felt like it's been very traumatic to see in Order 66 flashback, and he is going to go back into hiding now. So, yeah.
Did you say rating or raising? Because
I'm not going to rate it.
Leia did not raise Rey. Okay, Trey. So back
Misogynist. Breaking news: misogynist Trey Mitchell hates
She
Star
raised
Wars fans
herself,
and women.
okay?
Ray clearly raised herself. You hate women. Yeah. So
Shout out to the Ukrainian Raylos.
no
one heard that. It's fun.
Some blue butterflies.
Me too.
Yeah, Jess, what do you think?
Blue butterflies will save us all.
I think a good indicator that the show is gaining steam or popularity is that my dad was interested in watching it, and
he just watches the show Vikings. That's his only
he
show.
only
he watches.
watches Vikings. So my parents I had never seen Star Wars growing up because my parents were not into that, and I don't know. Growing up, I tried to explain to him when this show took place, and he did not understand because the prequels do not exist to him, I guess. But anyways, I think it's good, entertaining. I love Ewan McGregor. So
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, 8.
Fucking Obi-Wan
Fucking
Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
8.5 out of 10. I don't know.
5 out of 10.
She said 8.5. You
8.5.
shithead.
That was mine.
Oh, cool.
Probably.
Very cool. Very,
I
very
think a
cool.
good B+ is always, room for improvement, but not bad.
I got you. I love it. I love it. Connor, give me your rating and tell me what you're expecting.
Let's get from 1 to fall in order.
I'm not gonna go with 1 because Alden Diaz is truly, I think, molding me into a better person with this type of stuff. Been meaning to tell you that, Alden, and here you
I'm
go,
gonna
live
cry
on
now.
air. So yeah, there's that. It's phenomenal. I love it. Seeing Obi-Wan at his lowest point, presumably his lowest point in episode 1, was fantastic. I need more sad Obi-Wan in my life. And just the journey he's going through is just incredible. He's getting to possibly speak with not Obi-Wan, himself. He speaks with himself. Don't we all at some point?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Jerry. Yes.
And I will go ahead.
And he's trying to commune with his master, which I think will happen. I have a few predictions, but I'll get to that. We see him regaining his Force connection and sort of re-becoming Master and General Obi-Wan Kenobi. We see him cultivate this relationship with little Leia. That's just beautiful. It really hasn't fully hit for me yet. But again, like I said earlier, I feel like once we get all 6 episodes of this show out, once they're all released and I go back and watch all 6 of them in order, it'll all, like, the full breadth of the story will just hit me like a hammer. And in terms of predictions, I don't know why I think this, because again, there's that concept art. I just don't know why, but I'm thinking the rematch will be on Jabim. Don't ask me why. I just have a feeling. I'm probably wrong.
Where?
It's whatever.
Planet that they take Obi-Wan to at the beginning of episode 4, where he's in the back to tank.
Yeah.
The episode starts there.
Oh, I missed.
Yeah, like I don't know why. I think that's what'll happen. I do think the final fight, Trey will appreciate this. Don't ask me why. I think we're gonna get like a Twilight of the Apprentice type moment where like Obi-Wan slashes Vader's mask, and like we see Hayden under it. And I feel like that could tie into possibly the Obi-Wan once thought as you do, because I feel like if he slashes the mask and he sees like, oh, there's Anakin, he's going to go from like, I need to end this person to I need to help him. I need to save him from what he's become. I need to salvage the destruction of Anakin Skywalker into Vader from what little I can do. And so... last prediction, I think Qui-Gon's going to show up.
Yeah,
like as a ghost. Yes, that too, Brent.
Yeah.
I swear I had one more. Oh, Clone Wars flashbacks. We'll probably get them. I feel like we'll get them. If we don't, whatever.
There is one character that I'm really waiting to show up. Charlie, you might want to look at this. It is this character.
That is a beautiful character.
Paul Stanley.
I'll say I'm working on something that might make people very happy. That's to do with that sort of image. But
I mean, he is the best person of all Twitter.
He's my favorite Glub show. I'll say that.
He is. And then Bill, let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. So this is my favorite Star Wars story. Obi-Wan is becoming my favorite Star Wars character. This is a 10 out of 10 for Bill. And I'm just excited to see how this series ends. I'm excited to see Qui-Gon show up, which he's going to show up. Like, if not the next episode, he'll show up in episode 6 because, like, they've been setting it up. Like
Liam, I only do movies. Neeson.
Yeah, he's like that dude is showing up for Tales of the Jedi. There's no way he's not in this. You're wrong. If
he was in Clone Wars.
Exactly. He's
showing
showing
up.
Exactly.
I also do want to say really quick, sorry, Bill. I do like Alden's prediction of the fight being in the next episode, and then episode 6 will be like a sort of peaceful retransition. Yeah, he does, Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Peaceful retransition into like where we were at the beginning, but with like a new perspective.
Mm-hmm.
My prediction is that the final fight's going to be in episode 6.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just?
But I also really like that.
As well.
Go ahead.
Sure.
One last prediction. This is a shout out to Mr. Ted Louie on Twitter, who is angry at my suggestion that maybe we get to see the Helisabers in Kenobi.
Please, we need them.
And I want to. He says that it's the dumbest.
Sabers,
It's the
they,
single dumbest thing in Star Wars. How would that even work?
Oh, they like
I just
go
want to
into
say,
air?
Ted, screw you. I hope they have loads of
Fuck off,
Helisabers.
Ted.
I hope they do. I hope he does a backflip and then flies off.
It'll be really fun. I'll add to your point, Charlie. That's how the Grand Inquisitor shows up again.
Yeah, I think
he's
like
Mary Poppins. He's
why?
Mary Poppins. He comes in
Why?
and goes,
Like, I think didn't Rupert Friend basically say that? Like, yeah, they've got their helicopters. So, like, why would he say that if they not like if he hadn't used it? I think that's showing.
The key to hunting down Jedi is to fly around on my little bloody saber and go wee.
It's a Helisaber.
He is on Jimmy Kim on not Jimmy
Charles.
Fallon tonight.
Anyway.
Well, I said
One of the
that
Jimmys.
he's going to arrive in the episode like he's going to be like Mary Poppins, and I'm going. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to find Rupert Friend and make him say this. In actuality, I would say it is the spoonful of sugar that makes the medicine go down.
Charlie,
rest
I
until
love
that
you.
make that happen.
Him being
Thank
British
you.
would be.
That's my prediction for Kenobi.
Okay.
And with that, my friends, that is the episode. I'm going to go around. Everybody tell them where they can find you. Preston, where can they find you on Twitter, my friend?
Preston Seymour.
Preston Seymour on Twitter. Alden, the Tapestry Diaz. Where can they find you?
I don't even know sometimes. Look, just find me on Twitter. Buy Be More Obi-Wan by Kelly Knox.
Absolutely.
I'm only plugging Kelly Knox work from now on. No more plugs for myself.
Listen, I've never met Kelly, but friend of the show,
She
Kelly
seems
Knox.
neat.
Kelly is a friend of the show.
Neat.
Friend of
Very
the
neat.
show.
Yeah,
Very
the
neat.
word has come out for Kelly.
She does seem neat. That is true.
She does seem neat. Charlie, where can they find you in your Helisaber?
Yeah, so you can find me, Nikki, and Claire on the Imperial Senate podcast. So
I am
follow
also
that
on your last episode.
You are.
Like, I'm in
we
it.
released 2 episodes, one of which was a absolutely ridiculous and crazy episode, which I've skimmed parts of. I know for a section, I think Paul Stanley took our phone away. So God knows what happens in that section. I think I twerked on Alden for a bit, or at least that's what I've been told.
We've all
yeah.
been there. We've
You
all
know.
been there.
We've all been there. And we also have another episode where we speak about just,
Stop it.
look at that.
Stop
look at
it.
that
Look
beautiful
at that
boy.
man. Look at that man.
That's incredible. If you want to follow me personally, obviously you can follow me on Twitter at @AD_Strider.
It's the wrong account.
Anyway,
You forgot his
Yeah,
Yeah,
passwords.
my new one.
Jess, where can they find you?
You can follow me on Twitter if you want to.
I
It's
want
my
to.
name at Jessica Schloth. That's how you pronounce it. Letterbox as well for like a review of occasional movies I watch in probably 1 sentence or less. I don't put a lot of effort into it.
I respect it.
Two reviews of Top Gun Maverick because it's a great film.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's about it in what I've been doing recently.
Enter the danger zone with Jess.
Indeed.
Trey.
Hot
Trey.
Girl Summer for men.
Hot
in their
girl
mid to late
summer for men.
50s.
Hot girl summer for men. Trey, speaking of hot girl summer for men, where can they find you on Twitter?
You guys can follow me on Twitter at the Scott J Row, thirsting over Joe Organa.
Joey
That
Organa,
is where you
baby.
can find me. Joe Organa is in my Twitter header. This is my current Twitter header, and that is both of us. So you guys can find me there. Talking about hashtag getting help.
Get help. Get help, Scott.
Get help.
Get
Scott.
help.
Scott.
Get
Get
help,
help.
Scott.
Take care.
Come home.
Come home, Scott. Connor, where can they find you, buddy?
Twitter at Depa Banana. I talk Star Wars and be horny.
Very
Got it.
open.
After hours.
Do you mean
Connor.
that you be horny,
Basically.
or is that just like a general phrase?
Be horny. Just
Everyone,
be horny.
Be horny.
It's
Be
basically
horny.
a general
Everyone be
phrase
horny.
at this point. Where else? I do. Okay, so the last time I was on this show,
I forgot.
actually,
his
I can't
identity.
remember. Who gives a shit? I do 2 Star Wars podcasts now.
Okay.
In addition to the Nerd Academy podcast, where you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Pods, pretty much wherever you can listen to and or watch podcasts, we're on. I also do another Star Wars podcast called For the Republic, a love letter to Star Wars animation. We just talk about Star Wars animation. We're currently going through the Clone Wars chronologically right now, very slowly. It's taken forever, but we're getting through it. And I'm really, really liking revisiting Clone Wars because it was the first Star Wars TV show I grew up with. Yes, exactly, Jerry, exactly. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much, again, wherever you listen to podcasts, we're there. And you can also check me out at sweditorig.com. I write articles and stories. I don't have any published yet, but I will. I'm crafting stories about a legacy character that everyone here can pretty much guess who it is. It's not hard to figure out. But I work with a wonderful team of creative people. Yes, exactly. I work with a wonderful team of creative people. There are stories already out published on the website. If you want to check them out, they're fantastic. So go do that.
Absolutely.
Billiam.
Love it. Love it. And you guys can follow me on Twitter at Star Wars Bill. If you're not already, please follow the Skywalking Through the League official Twitter at Skywalking TL. And if you enjoy us and want to see more of our friends, I would really recommend.
I like this, Jared.
Really go recommend our friends over at Streaming Star Wars right now with my former crew over at the Resistance Broadcast talking Star Wars Celebration, whatever else they talk about. Go watch them. Go watch Nick, Pete, John, Lacey, and James. All great people.
Wait, are they all on a stream right now?
Yeah, they're all on a stream right now. Go watch them. Listen to them. Love them.
Interesting.
In a fun way.
Pink Milk is on right now too, right?
And Pink Milk and Boop's podcast.
Oh my God, we need to
abandon
the Friday night.
So many friends. Listen, we've had a great time here. If you've enjoyed us, please subscribe. And as always, Godspeed, Rebels, in a fun way.